Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the FireStorm podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about more YouTubers, but not just any YouTubers, because last time we specifically excluded a big category of YouTubers, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. That category is YouTube musicians.
Yes, indeed. There's so many musicians that we have discovered via YouTube, and obviously Gus can put himself in that category. He is indeed.
But we ruled me out. That doesn't count.
Oh yeah, no, you're not in my favorites. Fuck you.
Fuck this guy. He doesn't count. Get him out of here, dude.
No, but yeah, with YouTube being such a wide landscape, with anyone uploading anything they want, a lot of people have found their success start on YouTube and have grown massively since then. And yeah, a lot of those artists as well we are particular fans of. So we're going to be praising and honouring them today and pointing out a few of their good songs. And we have a few mutuals here as well, which is nice. I had an idea. How about we go like mutual you, me. Mutual you, me. Because we got around, I think, around the same amount. I don't know. So I reckon we can do it like that. It would be interesting.
Yeah.
So if we start off with the infamous, the one and only NateWantsToBattle. He is someone who has been a very big musician in, like, I can say a big influence on both of us, considering... Don't you always wear that NateWantsToBattle armband?
Yes, I do. I got it as part of that bundle with my Sandcastle Kingdom CD, and I basically... Nice. Yeah, it's not like... It's like one of those things. It kind of like... Because I always wear a watch on one of my wrists, and then if my other arm feels just empty. So I'm just like, well, I have this now, so I'll put it on there, and so now it's just become part of my look.
Nice.
So yeah, but I guess it's fair to say that I really like NateWantsToBattle. He has some great songs. Now I think there was a point a couple years ago where I was like, he was one of the only artists I listened to, and since then it's gotten a lot better. And it helps that he's not putting out as much music nowadays. But, there are a lot of songs that I listen to just because he covered them. And not even, I don't even listen to the originals. I just listen to his cover just because I prefer his cover over the original. And if I don't, then I'll just add the original to my playlist or whatever on Spotify. But for the most part, his covers of stuff, his covers of things, where I should pull it, but yeah, he does some great covers, and his original music is fantastic too. Back then he was a lot more active online generally, around 2016, 2017, when I listened to mostly him. He was a lot more active just online in general, on social media, and I think Nate and Dookie was still going on back then. He was posting all kinds of stuff. So he doesn't do that much anymore, which is a shame because I did enjoy that kind of content from him, because he seems just like an awesome guy. But I guess that is you just grow out of that kind of thing.
Yeah. So that was actually something I was going to ask. I've noticed ever since Nate kind of rebranded his channel to be Give Heart Records, that both he and everyone in that collective there have kind of just not made a lot of content. I've noticed Mando Pony, when I just started getting into him like a year ago, and he hadn't uploaded anything for ages. Then 11 months ago he uploaded an Undertale song, and now he hasn't uploaded anything else since. Except recently he's been doing D&D stuff. But still, it's just what's happened? Everyone's just kind of dropped off for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I guess it's just an age thing. They're both especially Nate and Andrew, they're both noticeably not fans of social media, and they're very against the way YouTube does the YouTube algorithm and all this other stuff. They're very much against that kind of thing.
Oh, who could blame them?
Yeah, I mean, I understand, and but I mean, if you've watched or if you listen to the podcast, you know my feelings about how social media should be treated. So I don't know. It just seems like I guess it's in a way mature of them to not be on social media, but at the same time, I feel like if they could have kept up social media had they actually wanted to, but it just seems like they just have given up. And I guess there's a certain stigma there when, you know, however many thousand people follow you and respond to everything you do. So, yeah, I guess that does put a lot of pressure on you and just kind of really can tick you off. But yeah, despite that, like despite them not really being active anymore, they're both, especially Nate, like incredible musicians. I think musically, actually, Andrew's more well versed and solid than Nate is. But Nate, I feel like his style of music I prefer over Andrew's. I guess if that makes sense.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot more complicated stuff come from Andrew. Like I'm thinking of Chara, and I'm thinking of songs like on that caliber. He's done a lot more complicated type
musically.
Musically,
Andrew's a lot more like solid and fundamentally there. But Nate, like I just think like he like basically does his own thing and it works very well. So
yes, so I'm gonna just note out a few. I love essentially all of his albums. Bad Time, the Undertale album, the Five Nights at Freddy's Ultimate Collection. His more recent one, Happily Ever After for Steven Universe. The Greatest Master for Pokemon, and what has he done? Any other albums? Oh, obviously his own albums of his original music, Paid and Exposure and Sandcastle Kingdoms. They're amazing. And a lot of his covers, like Shape of You, Sunflower, and heaps of other originals, like Just a Dreamer for Deltarune. I love that song. That is amazing. And How Wonderful for Undertale. That was also really cool. And yeah, overall, just Nate, he's got a really unique, good style, and he's well versed in everything. He can do great covers, he can do great originals. He knows what he's good at, and he sticks to it. And I fucking love it. I've got, according to my iTunes library, 131 songs from Nate Wants to Battle. So there you go.
That kind of says all you need to know.
Yes, epic. What about yourself? What are some of your favorites?
So some of my favorites are a lot of his older stuff. Like one thing for me, and we kind of excluded me from my like this whole video, like my music career. But one thing for me is that
was a joke. But yes,
we kind of it was. But like, well, I'm not gonna spend this video to talk about my own music career because that would be dumb. But one thing that I have, like, I've always kind of prided myself on is that, like, I want to be able to, as a musician, Nate from, like, 2014 to around 2016, 2017, like, before he released Sandcastle Kingdoms, was someone who, like, did a lot of, like, these, like, really cool covers of, like, a bunch of different stuff. Like, there's, like, anime covers and, like, some... like just some really cool songs.
Oh yeah, the Genesis album was full of fucking OP and endings, of course. Yeah, that was covers.
Great. Yeah. So there's like I pride myself, and I get this actually a lot, way more than you might expect. But people compare me to him all the time, and that's exactly what I've.
Do you think that's because you cover so many of his songs and instrumentals?
Maybe, and you know what? I could talk about that too. And I'll mention that briefly, but I don't know, but either way, like, on some of my Pokemon covers or whatever, like, I'll get compared to him, and that's kind of, my goal is to kind of be able to fill that void that he left after he started doing, like, kind of dropping back the music that he was doing, like, and started doing his own thing. I want to be able to fill that void of, like, 2015 to 2017 Nate Wants to Battle with like anime covers and all this other stuff, and I had like people have like tweeted me saying like, you know, thanking me for that kind of stuff that I do, and that it reminds them of early Nate Wants to Battle, and that's something that I kind of pride myself on. So I fill that void, if you will. So, and you know, it's a shame that he doesn't do that as much anymore, because that stuff was great. But yeah, I remember first discovering him back in 2014. Oh man, I think it was the song Hoen's Out, I believe, which was a parody of Love Runs Out by One Republic. And it was about, like, it was in preparation for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. That was the first song I ever heard by him. So I was probably 15 at the time. So that was a long time ago.
I don't even think I've heard of that one. Wow.
Yeah, there's some early stuff. And when I really started to get into him was when he dropped Mangled at the end of 2014, which was a Five Nights at Freddy's song. And that not the new one that sounds the remastered one that sounds great. I'm talking about the original one that he mixed himself.
The rough one.
Yeah, the one that does not sound as good.
Yeah, that was good.
But yeah,
I still like it.
Yeah, it was. So that was when I really started to get into him. But I still like Hoen's Out. But so that early stuff was really cool. I remember being really, really hyped, and this is still one of my favorite, probably my favorite album by him. For Songs of Time, his rock opera that,
of course,
that goes through the story of The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Because at the time when he announced that album, I had just finished beating the game. So I literally, like, constantly I would listen to the iTunes previews, because for some reason, even though it was on pre-order, it would let me listen to about a minute and a half of each song.
Yeah, iTunes was weird like that, yeah.
Yeah, but so I would listen to that on my phone, and I was just like, these are incredible, and to this day are probably some of the most musically solid pieces he's ever put out. And there's just so much diversity in that album, just given the nature of the diversity of Ocarina of Time. How there's one song for each element. I kind of wish he had done songs. This was maybe a bit selfish to me, but I wish he had done songs for the first three temples as well. It's a shame that he didn't, but I can kind of understand, because there's a lot more solidarity and foundation to the idea of, like, here's the forest temple, here's the fire temple, here's the water temple. Each one of those have, like, much more solid bosses and stories behind them, so it makes sense. And most of those are actually from the perspective of the temple bosses, and that's, like, it's so cool. It's really cool. And I remember listening to it for the first time, going through the album from start to finish. There's nothing from the perspective of Link throughout the entire album, except for the very last line of the Evil King, which is a line from Link's perspective where, like, the whole song, Ganon's like, I'm gonna be your king, I'm going to defeat you and rule over Hyrule for all eternity or whatever, and Link, at the very end of that song, is, like, defiant and says, you'll never be my king, which is, I remember getting chills at that time. That was awesome. So my favorite songs from that are Hero of Our Time, Grounded, Drowning, and Hands of a Thief. So those are my... Evil King is great too, but those are my four favorites specifically. And to this day are some of my favorite Nate songs. Obviously, his original albums are solid or whatever. Actually, a cover of his that came out that I really liked recently was actually Happily Ever After. That song is really cool. So just, especially after listening to the original from Steven Universe, the way he changed it to that rock style is just awesome. Like, that transition is so fluid and it works so well. And it's cool that he got the other three girls in too. That kind of made it even cooler. But yeah,
I did enjoy that mixture of, like, all those different artists, like, just for that song. I thought that mixture was actually really, really good. I thought that just pumped the song up to the next level.
Yeah. So, I totally lied, by the way. I just said there's nothing from the perspective of Link, but the first song is from the perspective of Link. I was totally lied.
Is it weird that, like, even though I've never played Legend of Zelda, I actually own his album physically?
No.
I just like the songs. That, like, all those you mentioned, as well as Shell, I thought were really good. Songs of Time was a fucking great album.
Yeah.
It was, can't deny. But yeah, I kind of get what you mean when you say he's kind of like, now that he's become more of an artist that he's done a few more single covers, and he's done his own original albums. He's kind of like gone away from like that sort of style of music. Like I do understand what you're saying. Like I don't imagine him doing something like Songs of Time for anything like he did it. He did it for Legend of Zelda. He did it for FNAF.
Yeah.
He kind of did it for Undertale, but they were mostly just covers of like just soundtrack songs.
Yeah.
But I do get what you mean. Like I it would be interesting to see him just focus on one topic.
Yeah.
And then just do a fuckload of songs based around those, and release something like Songs of Time again. That would be good. That would be cool to see.
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
Yeah, he definitely wouldn't do that, something like that now. But apparently that's
Happily Ever After. Like, can you a lot of those he already covered. Like, so I don't know. Can you really say that's included?
Well, and they're all covers anyway, so there's nothing. It's like that because Songs of Time was 11 originals. And that actually, like, that was apparently a project that was in the works for a long time, because if you remember back to when because back in 2014, that Nate Wants to Battle channel actually had a lot of gaming content on it. He would just post his gaming content, and I remember watching, like, his randomizer Nuzlocke of his, and actually, if you remember back then, that breakdown at the very beginning of Grounded, like, before it was mixed by Sean Christmas, was actually his intro for gaming content. So that was in the works for a long time. So yeah, so that was that's a little piece of trivia for you. It was awesome, and I didn't actually recognize it because it was so different. It sounded so much better in the final version, so I didn't actually recognize it until Nate said something about it on like maybe a live stream or something. I can't remember, but whenever he said that, I connected the dots. I was like, holy shit. And it actually, I don't know when or if this is going to happen, but that album specifically was so like big to me at the time. It inspired me to kind of start brainstorming for a similar album that tells the story of Breath of the Wild, because I think that could also work very well. So I would love at some point to bring a bunch of artists in, tell it like write a bunch of songs like from the perspective of each of the four whoever's they're called, like I forget their names, but the people, the important people, and maybe like one from the perspective of Zelda and all this other stuff.
The protagonists.
So, yeah, those four guys, the Goron dude, the Zora girl, the Gerudo girl, or Gerudo, who knows, and the one bird guy. So yeah, but that will probably happen at some point, but it will probably not happen for a long time, because I need to have the connections, as well as I have like a bunch of projects on my plate right now. So, but hopefully within the next few years I can start working on that. That would be really cool.
Nice.
All right, we can move on now, because that was a big one. That was the big one, I think.
That was. I'll let you go first with the.
Okay.
With a
So yeah, I'm gonna I'm actually not gonna go in order. I'm gonna bring up this. It's a kind of, they've done a few originals, but it's mostly a cover band. It's called First to 11, and they've got, I don't know, they're up to upwards of, they're definitely over 500,000 subs on YouTube now. They're actually really good. Their covers are definitely like hit or miss for me, just because they cover a lot of mainstream music, which doesn't resonate with me as much. So like, but they're all rock covers, which is really cool. So they're mostly like, they have some stuff that's not quite as rock here and there, but there's some stuff that they've done that's really, really cool. And it's actually like a full, like a 4-piece band. So it's really cool. The singer, Audra, is incredible. She's actually, she was born, she's like 2001. So she's like 18 or whatever.
Yeah, I just searched up First to 11. The first thing that came up was Just a Girl.
Yeah, so that's Audra. So she's the lead singer.
She's in the thumbnail, and like, holy fuck, she's younger than us.
Yeah, she's younger than us. She's almost, so she's July 2001, so she's almost 2 years younger than us, which is ridiculous. Yeah, it's It's crazy, and that band's been going for a few years now, so she's probably been at this since she was like 14 or 15, which is crazy. But they're really, really good. The guitarist is fantastic. The drummer's great. And they have some really great covers. Like I said, they cover a lot of mainstream stuff, so not all of it resonates with me. But so there are covers of like Ariana Grande and Halsey and all this other stuff that I don't really care for. But there's some really cool covers on there. They recently did a cover of Evanescence Bring Me to Life, which I actually really enjoyed. It isn't too much different from the original, but a lot of their covers that they do are actually very different from the original. There's a few covers I can mention. I'm actually a big fan of their cover of E.T. by Katy Perry. Surprisingly enough, that's a great cover. I have to find them.
I've got them up on iTunes, and I'm just checking them out now.
But they're fantastic. Audra has an amazing voice, and don't tell her, but she's really pretty too. I kind of have a crush on her.
If you hear this, Audra, you're pretty.
Marry me. I mean, what? I mean, what? Not like I want to like collab with you guys or anything. No, definitely not. But they have covers of there's Sunflower. They just did a cover of Ocean Avenue by Yellow Card, which is like a classic punk rock hit, like retro. I think this is probably Circles by Post Malone. Not saying I did it first, but not saying I did it first, but I did it first. Again, Audra, I love you. They have actually one. I'm actually a big fan of their original song called Thrill. It's not really rock. It's more like kind of indie style, or I can't really describe it, but it's really good. It's very simple, but it's I'm a big fan. Yeah. So there's some really cool stuff. Who is this guy? I forget. Cooler Than Me. There's a cover of that. That's a old pop hit if you're my age, because that's the kind of shit I listened to when I was around that age, like 10 years old. I listened to like the pop stuff. So Cooler Than Me. I can't remember who wrote that, but yeah, and they have like all kinds of cool stuff. Like how many volumes of cover songs? 4 plus the Christmas album. So it's like they've got so much stuff. Like Mr. Brightside cover, like anything, like almost anything, like Sweet Child of Mine, like almost anything you can think of, especially that's a lot more modern, like modern pop. They've probably done a rock cover of it, which is really cool. Lucid Dreams by that guy who just died. Anything, like it's so cool. I'm a really big fan. There's a that cover of E.T. actually, Katy Perry, E.T. It has this epic guitar solo at the end, and you know what? I never knew I needed a guitar solo in a Katy Perry song until I heard this. It's so good. But yeah, Audra's great. Audra, if you're listening, 1, please marry me, and 2, let me sing with you. That's all. Yeah, moving on.
One or the other.
No, both, please.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm selfish.
Moving on. I wanted to talk about this artist for a while. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how often they make, how much they make music now. They still got a Patreon going. They are still on SoundCloud uploading like small bits here and there. But more recently on YouTube, they've just been uploading live streams of them playing games. This artist is named CruciA. I found them a few years back when I was looking up Skillet instrumentals. Not instrumental, remixes. And for some reason, there was a random video that said Monster Remix by CruciA, and it wasn't uploaded by CruciA. And nowhere have I looked has it actually said that the actual CruciA made that remix. It was a good remix, but I don't know, it was just a random person uploaded it. But I found the actual CruciA from that, and they're really, if you search them up, they've got a lot of anime thumbnails. They're very, anyway, anime style. But they do a lot of electric remix songs, and like it edges away from rock and all that. They do a lot of just electronic dubstep type music. And I'm not usually the biggest fan of dubstep, but I don't know, I just like a lot of their music. A few highlights, if I just go... a lot of these songs you can download from their SoundCloud. A few highlights. I go QT.
Nice.
Nice. That's funny, but it sounds really good. Alchemy Chop, Ghosts, Devil Wouldn't Recognize You, and Gamerside. A lot of those are really, I don't know, I just find enjoyment from those songs. They're really nice. Good electronic energy lifting songs. It just gives you a lot of energy. Now, the last song she uploaded, I'm going to say they, because I don't know if it's a he or a she. I need to watch one of their live streams to actually hear their voice and know what they are. I'll say they. The last song they put up on YouTube was like 2 years ago, but then the last song they put up on SoundCloud was 4 months ago. So I can tell they're a little bit more active on SoundCloud just for music, which is fair enough. But a lot of their music they say is hacks step. I don't know what that actually is, but that's what they say a lot of their music is. But
that's very specific genre.
Hacks step. I'm not sure, but it's pretty enjoyable. I do like a lot of it, and yeah, there you go.
I mean, my genre on Spotify is called nerdcore, so I mean,
see, nerdcore. I imagine that is just like nerdcore is like a genre of music that is focused or based on video game or pop culture, or nerd culture. Hacks step. I don't know what hacks is.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. Can't say I know what that is.
But according to their SoundCloud, it says Hacks the Planet. I like to make songs that can be interpreted in many different ways, or just make them sound weirdly awesome. Many music artists inspired me, so I use all of my inspiration and try to fuse into one to create a new but familiar sound. And I'd say that kind of fits it fairly well. That fits their description really well of their music, and I can't argue with that. So, yeah. CruciA. There you go.
All right. There you go. Interesting. Yeah, we can go ahead and move on to the next mutual that we have that we both want to talk about.
Sure.
So the next one we wanted to bring up was a musician who's been going for a very long time, and who's still kicking around and releases great stuff. Her name's GlitchXCity.
Can confirm it's a her.
She's great. Her name's Courtney. She seems really, really cool. I followed her on Twitter for a while. She just seems really awesome. So she's only like probably maybe 3 years older than us. So she's pretty young still, but she's been going for a long time.
Yes, she has.
Like, I remember watching her remixes like a long time ago. Very long time ago, like back 2014, 2013. Like, she's been going for a long time. So yeah, but she's fantastic. Like, her music just never ceases to impress me. Like, the way it doesn't happen all the time. And some of her stuff is like that I've heard has not really resonated with me as much as some of the others, but she, like, for the most part, you could listen to any one of her remixes. She does mostly Nintendo remixes, a lot of Pokemon, mostly Pokemon.
Yeah.
So mostly Pokemon remixes, but they're like this electronic style, and they're really great. They're really good. Like, the way she is really creative with her remixes, and this is definitely something back when, now that remixes are over for me, I don't have to worry about it. But thinking back, I'm like, this is something I should have done more. But she is really creative because in her remixes, a lot of times she changes the tempo to give it a different feel altogether. Sometimes she'll change the sound completely just to kind of have the same general vibe, but almost like, because like the tempo change and some of the like changes in the music and the style, like it feels like a different song, but you can tell that it's still the song that you're familiar with, if that makes sense.
It is incredible how different she's able to make something sound, but how you're like, this is the same vibe I'm getting, but
yes,
it's so much more interesting. She is, like you said, incredibly creative, and like I don't know how she's able to pull off a lot of this, but she's done it, and she's made a very good, high caliber songs.
Yeah, and I was gonna mention a great example of what I mean is if you listen to it's one of the Mystery Dungeon songs. I believe it's Sky Peak Final Pass. So if you listen to the original Sky Peak Final Pass, I believe the tempo is about 90 BPM. So it's pretty slow, but it's not necessarily like a really attention-grabbing song. Like, it's nice to listen to, but it's not really attention-grabbing, and part of that is because it's so slow. But in her remix, in GlitchXCity's remix of Sky Peak Final Pass, I believe she's upped the tempo to about 120-ish, if I remember correctly. And the reason I know this is because I actually used her remix as kind of like a bass, like the original as well as her remix for kind of a bass when I covered Sky Peak back in the day, like a few years ago. So I believe it's 90, and then her remix is about 120. So the difference in the tempo there, it like really just immediately catches your attention, and it's a lot more musically like attention grabbing because it's faster, and as well as the style she does it in. But if you compare those two, you'll get a great idea of what I mean in the sense of her creativity and how she changes things up when she goes to do her remixes. Like, the way she goes about them is really unique, and there's not too many people out there that do it as well as she does. So, yeah.
I'd like to note some of my favorites from her that she's released. I love a lot of her lo-fi remixes. She's very good at lo-fi. It's good, nice, chill music. Eterna Forest, Jubilife City, Lily's Theme, they are really nice. And Molly City as well. A lot of good lo-fi songs. She's done a few different songs. Like, she's done a few Undertale / Deltarune songs. Like, she did a Megalovania remix, which was actually really good.
Nice.
Lost Girl for Noel. That was a good synth wave song, and his theme as well, pretty good stuff. And Field of Hopes and Dreams, she did a good cover of that.
Yeah.
And I'm also a fan of her controversial Distortion World remix. Even though she had to take that down, I still thought that was a really enjoyable song.
Yes, that's a good one. I like that one. It is on Spotify though.
There you go.
Yeah, so some of her favorites are actually some of her favorites of mine, or my favorites of hers are actually like some of her older stuff. So her Route 47 remix, that's a route in Johto, I believe. Relic Song, X and Y Pokemon League, the original Eterna Forest remix. I'm actually a really big fan of that one. Not the lo-fi one, the one that she did way back when. Obviously, Sky Peak Final Pass. And then as well, I do like the lo-fi ones as well. They're very nice to listen to. And there's some, I'm trying to think of some other ones. Oh, Professor Sycamore's theme. That's fantastic. Her recent Pallet Town remixes, or Pallet Town remix, and as well as Sonic remixes she does. Planet Wisp from Sonic Colors. I'm a big fan of that remix of hers. She did a great Green Hill remix as well as Ice Cap Zone. So some of the Sonic remixes she does are really good. She's done a few Zelda remixes here and there, which are great as well. Yeah, I can't really complain. It's great stuff. So yeah.
Nice. Moving on to your next individual.
Oh fuck. Shit. Oh, okay, yeah. So I was put on the spot. So I guess I'll keep it on the topic of like people who do video game style stuff. So I actually discovered this guy because he's on like very high on the list of people on my Spotify page. And I check my Spotify page every so often, just like make sure everything looks good. There's right next to like the top tracks are like a list of people, of other artists who listen, like people who listen to this artist also listen to. And this guy's like one of the first two on that list, and his name is MattyyyM. That's the letter M. So it's like, I don't know how many Y's it is, but he's a guitarist from England, and he does really, really great guitar covers of anime songs. So for the most part, occasionally he'll put out songs like as collabs with actual vocalists, but he doesn't do his own vocals. He does guitar covers of mostly anime songs and some game songs if it's necessary, but he, instead of doing vocals, he does all the vocal lines as guitars, which is really unique and makes for a really cool like vibe he has going on. It's awesome. I'm a big fan. Like I won't personally listen to him. Like I listen to some of his stuff because I think it's really cool, but it's not really as much my speed because I do prefer vocals. But if you're into just some instrumental stuff that's just really solid musically and sounds great, MattyyyM is fantastic. He has like 4 or 5 albums filled with his anime covers. So he's done, like I'm looking through them now. He's done Strike Back from Fairy Tail, Let Me Hear from Parasite, Unravel from Tokyo Ghoul, Gurren no Yumiya from Attack on Titan, Silhouette from Naruto, and that's just from the first one. So the list goes on and on and on. Like there are some great ones that he's done. Oh, I want to hear that Ash cover. But yeah, like just.
Well, you've definitely piqued my interest because I love instrumentals. So
yeah, so I do
might check him out.
I do prefer vocals, but if you're just like you like the instrumental stuff, he's some recent stuff like Polaris from My Hero. I just saw, what did I just see? Oh, The Day from My Hero. There's just some great stuff that he's done. Crossing Field, I highly recommend it if you're into that kind of stuff. Like there's no one better. He's just incredible. There's Redo for you. Some of them aren't the full version, which is unfortunate. He does a full version here or there, but it's just so good. Like you can't go wrong. It's fantastic. So if that is your swing, there's Resolution from the new SAO season. Big fan of that song. If that's your thing, definitely go for it because he's really, really good. He's a fan, like really cool guy. So yeah, there you go.
Okay, epic. Okay, so if you guys didn't know, at least on my channel, I do a series called Amazing Online Artists, and that's basically where I just talk about different people that are only online, that are musicians that I think deserve a bit more brought to them, and I praised Gus for a lot of his covers and a lot of his newer songs at the time.
Oh yeah, I wanted to mention, just as a side note, I wanted to mention this when we were doing Nate Wants to Battle, but I hate that I did so many of those Nate Wants to Battle covers, because it started out fun, and then because the reason I don't like them is just because, like, I gave in to what people wanted me to do, I guess. Yeah. Like, I didn't want to do that many, but I just would not stop getting requests about it, and I feel like I should have stood up for myself more, but I just don't like that I did so many of them. It's just, like, a few of them would have been fine, but, 30? Ugh. Yeah, I hate it. It's not something I'm a big fan of. I like the stuff that I do now so much more. Like there's just not even comparable. So I guess that's one thing that I kind of hate. I don't like a lot of the stuff that I've done like a while ago, but I'm just glad it's over.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But
anyway, Randy.
Yeah, the reason I bring up the series is because the next episode, which I might actually film a bit later, is about this artist. I thought I may as well talk about them.
Yeah.
I did mention them in I think the Random as Fuck episode, I mentioned them. Their name is Cepheid. Cepheid, I've done a bit of research on them as well for my video. Mm-hmm. Cepheid is a guy from Canada who creates epic metal music, and basically gets Vocaloid or female artists to sing over them. A majority of their songs are original. They do have 2 Toho arrangements. I don't know a heap about Toho, so forgive me if what I say about them is incorrect. But from what I gather, it's a giant popular franchise or thing or something, and
something like that.
They got heaps of music. I know that much because Cepheid has been a part of 2 Toho arrangement albums, I believe, and Cepheid, they've been uploading for 6 years, but they don't have a lot of songs under their category at the moment. But for what songs are available, all of them are epic. All of them are incredible metal arrangements, and the one problem I do find on occasion with some people that use Vocaloid is that because obviously with what Vocaloid is, sometimes it sounds the vocals sound too robotic, that it just takes me out of the song. But the way Cepheid has been able to implement Vocaloid into a few of his songs, it works incredibly well. It's almost like you can't even fucking tell it's a Vocaloid. Nice. Their EP, Lost, Forgotten, Shattered, has heaps of great hits on it. Sakura, Desire, Jack the Ripper, Goddess, Gaia, Kronos. They're all fucking amazing. And the 2 Toho arrangements, I believe, are Catch Wind and... the most recent thing they uploaded like a few days ago, Catch Wind and Puppeteer, which was a few years old.
Nice.
Is that a dog?
That is my dog barking in the background.
Hi, dog. Anyway. Yes, Cepheid, although they don't have a lot under their name at the moment, what they do have is epic, and all of their singles they release, they also have instrumental releases with them as well.
Nice.
And, I'm going to be talking more about Cepheid in the Amazing Online Artists video, so yeah. I'll
check it out, boys.
Bring out when they'll come out, I don't know when, next week or something. I gotta film it.
You also have more than me, so you should go one more time.
Oh, I'm more than happy to. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's Cepheid, epic metal music, sometimes Vocaloid, sometimes actual female vocalists. They did the 2 biggest songs, Gaia and Goddess, both have the same female artist, Nonon, and she's really good. I want to check her out. But yeah, there you go. Speaking of, there is, I think, 3 more. Actually, I'll just... You know what, I'm going to cut back my list, because a lot of these artists I have talked about before. Okay. You know what, I'm going to cut out this guy. Sorry, that guy. No one will ever know you. Guy. No one will ever know who you are. Next, who should I talk about? I'm going to talk about someone who I've never mentioned before, but I was introduced to a few years back. So... back in probably 2016, it depends when they released a certain album. My friends and I had a drunken escapade at our house, and I was still kind of in the height of my Skyrim love, and I forgot what it was. I think it was my mate Dylan. He just randomly said, "Dude." No, actually, it was like last year. It was probably 2 years ago, yeah, if anything. But he said, dude, I found this guy who takes vocal samples from Skyrim and uses them as vocals in rap songs. And I'm like, excuse me, what? So basically, nice. This guy's called Young Scrolls in comparison to the Elder Scrolls. Haha, funny. He does all Elder Scrolls based music, either remixes of certain soundtracks, or as I'm explaining, he takes, because his Elder Scrolls have that many vocal lines and so many people that sound the same. He just cuts and adds together certain sentences to make them and words to make it actually sound like a rap lyrics, and he does it so well. If I need it, and mate Dylan just randomly brought out his upload of Sheogorath Zoom, and it's so fucking funny. It's all made in comedy, and it's so funny. There's a few songs which are done a bit more seriously, but regardless, it is hilarious. If I had to suggest one thing, I'd suggest to you Filthy Rich Jib by from the album Saint. It is fucking hilarious. Just some of the lyrics he's able to come up with because of the vocal lines of certain characters is so funny. But yeah, he's been fairly consistent with uploads for the past 3 years from what I can see. His Bandcamp has a lot more uploads and a lot more like you can download all the songs there, but either for free or by purchasing them. A few of my favorites, the Shield. Hold on, I just need to bring up my iTunes. Honestly, if you love Elder Scrolls and you like rap music and you're willing to have a laugh, check it out. It is actually some of the funniest shit. Blood Gang,
nice.
from the Volkihar clan, featuring Serana, Ferran Sadri, and Orpheolf. I forgot how to pronounce his name. Flex Like Sithis. Flex Like Sithis is so fucking great. Heartbreaker by Mikhail. Filthy Rich from the Saint album and Balmora Blue. And then Zoom, Sheogorath, there's like Source, Drink Water. Fucking Drink Water is
Stay
epic.
hydrated, boys.
If you want to get inspiration to drink your H2O, listen to Drink Water by Sheogorath, Young Scrolls. And Sharp Dresser, Gucci God. Oh my god. Even if you don't like Skyrim, just come on. You gotta give it a go.
Epic.
It's so funny. I'm gonna make you listen to one of his songs, Gus. I will make you.
Epic. Okay.
Alright.
I'm sufficiently threatened.
Yep, you've been politely threatened, Gus.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Yeah,
but yeah, Young Scrolls. There you go.
There you go. So we have another mutual up here. I actually don't have too much to say about this guy. I don't know if you do, if you have more than me, but there's not too much more to say other than he's really good at what he does. His name is Jonathan Young. He knows where he fits in the world of anime covers and stuff, and he sticks to that very, very well. He's been doing a lot of stuff with Caleb Hiles recently, who is also an incredible YouTube musician, has the voice of an actual god. So they've been, and the contrast between their vocals is really cool too, I think, because Caleb is like a lot more naturally like good at singing, and he's very high, like he can sing very high, but Jonathan is like a lot more like deep and masculine. He sounds like he's dubbed himself the Disney villain of YouTube musicians, and I think that's accurate because he's done like a whole album of like songs from Disney movies from the perspective of villains, which is really cool and very unique, and he's the perfect voice for it too. So
if you need an example of his amazing deep voice, check out his cover of Hero from One Punch Man. Hero, it is like so phenomenal. That's
his most popular song. I'm kind of indifferent about it.
Incredible, but there's still he's got he does a nice balance of like mainstream song covers, or at least songs that aren't anime focused and aren't like nerdcore focused. Like he's done a few covers of 3 Days Grace and Skillet, and then he's got an album. He does the I Didn't Write Any of This volumed albums. Like he did Pop by NSYNC with Caleb Hiles. What the fuck?
He also did It's Gonna Be Me, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and then he did Take On Me, Wonderwall, and Last Resort. They are incredible. Everything he does, like the metal, a lot of the instrumentals are by 16 in Momo, I think his name is. Mono, sorry, yeah,
16
yeah.
in mono,
a lot of
yeah.
the instrumentals, I think, well, you could say most of them, I don't know, are by 16 in mono, and
especially
but
nowadays they are, yeah.
That type of metal instrumental with his vocals works incredibly well, and yeah, as you said, he's found his place, he sticks to it, and like you don't expect something like he'll randomly come out with an awesome anime cover, and then you'd be like, oh, this is awesome, and then the next week he'll come up with Skillet or 3 Days Grace or like something else mainstream. And I gotta say, his cover with Caleb Hyles of the Skyrim theme is one of the best I've ever heard, purely because his deep voice can be like. It can take, like, you know, in the original Skyrim theme, how it was a giant fucking orchestra, like, it was a giant, like, 100 men singing all at once. His voice alone trumps that, and the metal cover to go with it is incredible. So, he's also a bit of a memer, I've noticed. If you've seen his covers of We Are Number One and All Star, they're pretty good. And you can't deny his originals. He hasn't done a lot of originals, but the few he has done, like Bait, and what was another one that he released a demo for? Echo Chamber. They are incredible. So yeah, everything Jonathan does, he knows what he's good at. He sticks with it, and it's phenomenal. So yeah, Jonathan Young.
Yeah, his song Echo Chamber is pretty good. I don't really like too many Disney songs. Like, he's very good at what he does, and I like some of his performances on like songs by an artist that we're gonna talk about soon. Like he did guest vocals for like Eurobeat covers, which are just amazing. They're so good. But one of my favorites that he's actually done is his cover of Phantom of the Opera, which is
nice.
his voice fits so well.
The thing
for
with
that
me
song.
is I haven't actually listened. I don't drift towards the Disney covers. I don't find them as appealing as a lot of his other stuff, as everything else he does. But I do understand the appeal, and like, especially I've heard of Phantom.
Yeah,
of the Opera.
I don't like Disney songs, but as someone who has, if you're in music at all, you're probably at least a little bit versed in musical theater, as am I. Even though I'm not a huge theater person, I am like familiar with my fair share of musical theater. And Phantom of the Opera is like, this musical theater songs are just generally like really complex stuff. They're written to be performed live, and so there's a lot of like weird stuff about them musically, but the fact that I don't know much about the like musically about the song Phantom of the Opera, but his voice just works so well for it. He's like, beware I can't do it, but like, it's so good. So I'm a big fan of that one, but just there is a lot of appeal to the Disney stuff, a lot of which I don't know about because I'm not a huge Disney person. But yeah, like, he's done some really great stuff. I do like a lot of his anime covers. Obviously his One Punch Man opening cover is his most popular. There's good reason for that. I do like the song as well as his cover of it. I'm not sure exactly, but like, I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit overhyped. Like, it's just because the song itself is just really good. So I think Jonathan Young has just taken that song that was already really good and just rolled with it. And so I'm not like, wow, Jonathan is the best ever because he covered a song that was already good. So, I mean, and he did a great job with that cover, but it's just not, I don't think all of that hype should go specifically towards him. So yeah, I feel like people just kind of overhype that, and especially people who aren't really in music, and that's understandable because he did a great job with that cover. But yeah, just his voice is really unique, especially amongst the YouTube musicians. There's not a lot of people out there with voices as good and deep as his. So
fair
I'm a big
enough.
fan.
That's pretty good. Nice. All right.
Yeah.
So, what do you got next on the list?
What do I have next? I'm gonna talk about someone who fits kind of in this mold here. His name's FamilyJules. He's a YouTube guitarist, metal, nerdcore musician who's been going for almost like as long as I can remember. He's been on YouTube for a very, very long time. Back in the day, he was FamilyJules 7X back in the day. He's changed it to FamilyJules, just FamilyJules, understandably so, because like you kind of want to trash those numbers from your name. But yeah, he's been around for a very long time, and back in the day, if you remember, he used to do these medleys where he would these were really, really cool. He would basically like cast out a vote for like a public vote, and people would vote for their favorite song, like soundtrack song for a certain for a certain type of level or boss fight or whatever from video games, and he would do a medley of the top 10 most popular votes. So one of the ones that I'm a really big fan of, and at least are the one that I can one of them that I can remember off the top of my head are, and there's a good reason for this, and I'll get to that in a second, but it's the top 10 last level songs or something like that, like final level song, like the one, like the songs that you get during the final level, right before the final boss, whatever. And the reason I remember it so well is because it leads off number 10 with Temporal Tower, which is one of my favorite video game songs of all time, from Mystery Dungeon Explorers. So that's why it sticks in my head so well, but he's done so many of those. He doesn't do those anymore, and that's understandable because they took a long time, and they've got to take a lot of dedication to be able to put 10 songs into a medley and those smooth transitions. I can't imagine, but they were awesome at the time. So that's how I originally discovered him. He still does medleys every so often, but there's obviously a lot of like issues with selling a medley song, so he doesn't really make a lot of money off those, because if you sell one medley song, you've got to get copyright or like cover licenses for all 10 of the songs you covered, just to make money off of that one song. So that's obviously not really financially beneficial in any way. So that's why he kind of stopped. He does a lot more regular video game covers now, but his stuff is great. He did a cover of the Marnie battle theme a couple weeks ago that I'm a really big fan of. It sounds great. Yeah, but that's just one that I can think of off the top of my head. He used to live in the same apartment as Jonathan Young, and the musician we're going to talk about after Trent's next one. They used to all live in the same apartment. So they're all like great friends with each other. It's great. Like he's just a fantastic musician. One of the most musically like gifted, I think, musicians I've ever seen. Like, I think he's if not the single best guitarist I've ever seen on YouTube. The diversity he has with his music, he's just incredible, and the production is fantastic. I can't say enough good things about him. He's just really, really good at what he does. So yeah, but if you want, I definitely recommend those medleys. If you want to check out one of those, there's so many of them. For like anything you can think of, like top 10 boss battle themes, and he did the full medley. It's great. So big fan.
Nice.
That's all I can say.
All right, epic. Now I'm gonna lump the next two together because I have done amazing online artist videos on both of them, and yeah, I want to talk about them a little bit more just because they're both great, and these two really stand out to me. But I'm gonna just lump them together. They are Brandon Yates and Kamex. Two completely different styles, but two incredible artists nonetheless. Brandon Yates is mostly known for his soundtrack songs for Death Battle. He does a lot of great tracks for them, and I think he works mostly with them for many different things, and he's released a few of his own individual albums. A lot of instrumental rock stuff and a few vocal stuff. He's gotten so much better with vocals over the years. And some of my favourite songs from him is EXO, the 2019 mix, which he did, I think it was for Raiden vs. Wolverine Death Battle. It was really good. Alchemy, which he did, I think, for the YouTuber named Mark, who does like his own Ruby stories or something like that, using original character. Am I wrong? They're really animated well. They're pretty good. But yeah, he's so Brandon Yates has a few original solo albums which he releases and compiles a lot of these songs. There's a lot of songs from Death Battle under his name, and there's an infinite amount of unreleased songs on his YouTube because he can't. Like, he has to pay an X amount to release each song, and he pumps out music that often that it just becomes difficult to maintain, which is fair enough. And he does a lot of commissions as well. If you want to commission a track, or like if you got an idea of a beat and you want to commission it for something, he accepts commissions. He's really good. One of my favorite unofficially released songs is When It Clicks, It Sticks, which I just think it just sounds really catchy. So yeah, that's Brandon Yates. Next was Kamex. Kamex, he does... I think his name is literally the Japanese name for Blastoise. I actually think that's... Yeah, there you go. So,
yes,
Kamex,
that is correct.
He's a massive Pokemon fan. He's also got... He's starting to release things on iTunes now, but he's got... all of his tracks can be downloaded for free in the description of whatever he uploads on YouTube, and he's got a lot of great Pokemon remixes, and he does a lot of other stuff as well. I think he got popular from his Undertale stuff, but he does a lot of everything. And Kamex, you can't really argue, he does phenomenal stuff. In the same vein as GlitchXCity, he manages to make things sound familiar, but in his own style. It's really good. Yeah.
He's
got a few originals as well, like Hang In There, which is pretty good. But yeah, if I had to say my favorite from him, it would be Hidden Highland, Ghost Fight, Broken Dreams, which was for an Undertale original story thing, Monster, and yeah. That's okay. That's alright. Good song.
Sorry, I'm singing.
But yeah, there you go. Kamex. Good shit. Just think Blastoise in Japanese. Just think Blastoise in Japanese.
Kamex!
Alright, go. Yeah, so the next one's a mutual. Go ahead.
Yeah, the next one is the guitarist we've been alluding to. His name's RichaadEB. I just call him Rich because Richad is weird. But, his name's Richard, obviously.
Richard?
But, like, I just call him Rich.
Yeah.
Richard.
Call him Rich.
You could also call him Dick, because that's also a shortened name for Richard.
But he doesn't appear to be a dick, so we're not going to call him that.
No, he seems like a really cool guy. Although, like, I've seen some pictures from him at, like, I think MagFest is what's going on right now. He just kind of looks dead inside all the time.
Oh, God.
So, I'm a bit worried about him. But,
okay,
he's
buddy?
a fantastic guitarist. He does metal covers of all kinds of video game songs, and just his stuff is just great. Like his I can't really describe it, but his solos are absolutely fantastic. He's one of the few artists that actually takes a song, like the bass of a video game song, and will actually do his own solo over it. And he's so good at shredding on a guitar and just soloing in general. Like, it just fits in with the song that he's done. So I'm a big fan of, like, how he actually does that. It's just really cool. I'm gonna go and see if I can find some of my favorites that he's done. But yeah, he's just done some really, really awesome stuff. Field of Hopes and Dreams. I'm actually a big fan of his cover of the Zinnia battle theme, as well as the Ultra Necrozma battle theme, both from Pokemon. Gerudo Valley, actually, from Ocarina of Time. That's a hidden gem, I think. Because there's like a flute, or like an actual ocarina solo in that song amongst all of the metal going on, I don't even know. It's so good, though.
How'd he do it? Epic.
I don't know, but he brought like one of his friends in to do that ocarina solo. Actually, I'm a big fan of Strike the Earth, which is the first song from Shovel Knight that he did a cover of, which is great. Chemical Plant, obviously from Sonic 2. he does like all of the Deltarune songs he's done are really really good as well. Obviously, it feels unfair to mention or not to mention his however many albums of Undertale music. His Undertale covers have actually become officially licensed Undertale merchandise, which is awesome. It's really really cool. Yeah, you didn't know that?
No. What?
His albums Determination and Determination the Purple Side are actually endorsed fully by Toby Fox and sold as official Undertale merchandise.
No shit.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is epic. I didn't know that.
Yes. There you go.
Oh.
So I've been following Rich since around the time when obviously like most people discovered him through his Undertale music. So I've been following him since around 2016. So he actually put out a tweet when that happened, or like when he was allowed to announce it, that those two albums are like, I think especially like you could get them on CD. I believe the CDs specifically are what's officially licensed Undertale merchandise. But yeah, it's just awesome. His covers of all the Undertale songs are fantastic. But like he has so many different singles, anything you could think of. Just going through his Spotify now, like they just keep loading in. Like so many, so many, from Zelda, Pokemon, Sonic, anything, like any Nintendo franchise you want. He has a full album of Toho covers as well, which again, I don't really know anything about Toho, but so many Deltarune songs. He's done, Susie, Rude Buster, World Revolving, Field of Hopes and Dreams, just so much good stuff. So yeah, I'm a really big fan. He also does have some people in to sing for his music every so often. Like here, I can see his cover of Old Town Road with Jonathan Young.
Yeah, no, that was epic.
Yeah,
Little V Mills was in a few as well. Little V is pretty good.
Yeah, he's actually also done some Eurobeat songs, which I mentioned earlier. He's with Jonathan Young on vocals. Running in the 90s as well as Deja Vu. I'm actually a big fan of both of those. His arrangements of those songs are incredible. Big fan. He also did, obviously, since it's Toby Fox, he did a cover of the Battle Tower theme from Pokemon Sword and Shield, which I'm a big fan of. That sounds great. But yeah, there's so much good stuff he's done. Like, if you can think of a franchise, a video game franchise, he's probably done a song from it.
That's the one thing for me. Whenever I find a new artist I like, I always like to put it down on a list that I like them, and then I like to go back to the original stuff and listen to everything they've done. Essentially. Now, Richard, he's still on the list, but I subscribe to him on YouTube, and I've just been following him. Only for the past year, and I've only been able to listen to his most recent hits, but I still haven't been able to go back and look at his old stuff, but I still love a lot of what he's doing. Like, my favorites, he's done a few covers with Christina V, NateWantsToBattle's girlfriend, on vocals. Lifelight for Smash Bros. Ultimate, the English version, he had Christina V in. And this is something I thought was interesting. Bad Apple for Bullet Hell, which was the Toho album he made. Yeah. Bad Apple. I didn't realize Christina V was actually the original vocalist for the English version of Bad Apple years and years ago for Toho, which I didn't. I still don't understand Toho. Don't hurt me. But Richard was able to get her in to do to do the metal cover of it with her on vocals. So that's awesome. Devil Trigger from Devil May Cry 5. That is fucking amazing. That cover, his full version cover of that, and even the shorter one, they're epic. Dull Judgment, Field of Hopes and Dreams, Gym Leader Battle, and even Megalovania, which he gets requested many, many times. Richard has done so many awesome stuff, and I can't wait to go back and listen to all the older stuff as well, because he's got so many hits that I have yet to listen to. But yeah, RichaadEB, epic.
There you go. By the way, you do know that Nate and Christina broke up, right?
Oh.
Yeah. That's why I said F.
Oh, no!
That's why I said F.
I didn't hear you say F. I just heard you laugh.
Yeah.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh.
That was actually a long time ago too.
Was it?
Yes.
What the fuck? What have
you
I been
been, bro?
missing? What did I miss in
That's
the
why
past
they stopped.
few
That's
months?
why they stopped that D&D series they had going on, Dark and Dicey. That's why they stopped.
I wasn't even paying attention to it. I heard the announcement of it, but I wasn't even paying attention
I
to
really
the
liked
series.
it, actually. I enjoyed watching it, and they just stopped because they had some marital
Oh, well,
troubles.
I'm sorry if any major fans of Nate or
No, it's
Christina
all
are
right. It's
listening.
so- yeah,
I
it's okay.
apologize.
Well,
I was not aware of that. That's,
we don't mean to. We're not trying to like get anybody up in a tussle or whatever. Who, like,
no,
we're not trying
I'm
to-
not. I'm just not in the loop because I'm a
Yeah.
fucking idiot. But okay, well that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is unfortunate.
Anyway,
I thought they were good
moving-
together, but that's okay.
Yeah, I thought they were good together. They did a lot
Yeah.
of great covers. Like their combined cover of what was it? It was released on Nate's
Havana?
Nate.
Attention?
Fuck, hold on. Wait, I know what it is. Attention. Yeah,
Oh,
their cover of Attention was really fucking good. I really
Yeah, it
love
is.
that. But yeah, that's unfortunate. Okay, well
yeah,
that's
that is unfortunate.
damn.
Anyway, I'll move on to
yeah.
my next one.
Yes,
Before we
let's do
offend
that.
anybody else.
Yes, apologies.
Yeah. So I'll just briefly mention her because I have mentioned her a bit already. I feel like I don't have to say too much just because her music speaks for itself. Her name's Lindsey Stirling. She is the violinist girl. If you don't know who she is, she's the violinist girl, and now you know who she is. So yeah, she is like the dancing violinist girl. Her music is so good. From pretty much anything from Shatter Me on, all her albums have been just absolutely blown it out of the park. She has a lot of instrumental stuff which absolutely resonate really well with me, like especially on Shatter Me as well as Artemis, her new album. On Shatter Me, she has some really solid instrumental stuff. Take Flight, Heist, Beyond the Veil, I believe, is on that one. Night Vision, as well as the single Shatter Me, which is just so good. Like, there's a reason that's her most popular song, with Lizzie Hale, who I think is from a metal band, Hailstorm, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's a great song. And then Brave Enough, obviously, is great. And then her new album, Artemis, which I'm a really big fan of because Brave Enough didn't have too many instrumental songs, but actually Artemis is mostly instrumental songs, with I think like 2 or 3 songs that have vocals in it among the 12 that of the album. So and there's even an instrumental version of The Upside, which is like the main single from that album. So yeah, it's like her music is just so good. It's like it's electronic mostly. Brave Enough had more of like a ambient feel, I guess, with some electronic elements sprinkled in. But the instrumental songs that were in Brave Enough were excellent. Lost Girls, The Arena. The video, actually, the music video for The Arena is really good. But she's done some great music videos too. For the one for Roundtable Rival, I'm actually a really big fan of, as well as Artemis, the new one. So yeah, she's just so good. If you like, she's one of the few musicians where I'm convinced that no matter what kind of music you like, no matter what kind of music you swear off or whatever, like if you swear off country music like I did once upon a time, I'm more open to it now, but like when I was 17 or 16, I was like, I hate country music, it's fucking dumb. But yeah, maybe that's because I grew up listening to it. But yeah, it's no matter what kind of music you like or what kind of music you don't like, she's one of the very few artists where I'm convinced that anybody can love her music because it's just that good, and just it doesn't really have a certain style. It's just a violin over top of some like changing like different instruments every time. It's really cool. And if you haven't listened to her music yet, just do yourself a favor and listen to, I would say, Shatter Me first, that album. Because I think it leads off with Beyond the Veil, which is, in my opinion, one of her best songs she's ever done. So, yeah, do yourself a favor. That's all.
Nice.
There you go.
Epic. Fuck. I just found out a fact about Christina V, which blows my mind.
Oh, yeah?
Completely irrelevant to this. She actually voiced Elisa Bosconovich in the English dub of Tekken Blood Vengeance. I didn't know that. That's
the more
epic.
you know.
Because I love Tekken, but I didn't know that. So she did a good Elisa. Good job. Anyway, continuing on. So is it me or is it a conjoined one? It's me,
it's you.
isn't it?
It's you.
Ah! Okay.
Pranked.
Next, I'm going to bring up someone who's probably the biggest artist on this list, if I had to guess. Yeah. Dan Ball. What?
Other than Lindsey Stirling.
Other than Lindsey Stirling, Dan Ball is a hip-hop rapper. He places himself in the alternative rap genre, which I've never heard of before. But that's what all of his music is put under in the genre. In genre-wise.
Oh, all right.
But basically he does all original raps based on basically nerdcore, nerd culture, whatever he wants. He does so many different raps. I found him because of obviously Skyrim. He's got that. He did raps for each of the fucking Skyrim DLCs. Okay, and they're all awesome. But yeah, he does raps for basically any game or anything he wants. He did a rap on a game that's based on real estate, and it's epic. It's called House Flipper, and it's actually really fucking good. Oh my god! And he did a Detective Pikachu rap. He's done a rap for a hentai game. Because they sponsored him, and I forgot what is because they sponsored him. It was really funny. What
a legend!
What is the song called? If I gotta make you listen to any of his songs, it would be probably that one because it's like Sacred Sword. That's what it's called.
Sacred Sword.
Oh, and at the end, he's just like, by the way, when I say sword, I mean Willy. It's Penis. Just like, that's right, the sword is a Willy. He's very British, but anyway. Dan Ball, he's got nearly 2 million subscribers. Fuck. He's been getting a bit more popular recently. Thank God, he deserves the attention. Like, he peaked with Skyrim and I think Minecraft as well. And then basically he's just been doing whatever he feels like or whatever's requested. And yeah, he just seems like a cool dude. He's done a few original albums as well, which can't be overlooked. I'm just looking for him on my iTunes now because he put his original albums out on his website to download for free or either buy. Let's have a look here. I'm just going to find them because I am ill-prepared for the situation. He also did something called a Fortnite Rap Battle Royale where he got 100 different YouTubers to be in a song about Fortnite. That was an incredible undertaking from him, and that was interesting. The Garden is an original album from him full of great songs. Like Wisdom Teeth, The Quiet Viking, Summer Rain, Hip Hop Hooray, which is really funny. I'm Gonna Be a Daddy is really interesting because it's an actual song about him being terrified of being a father. And it's actually, like, it's really, really, really good. He can hit, like, actual emotional rap, like, songs that make you think and feel shit. He can do it really well. How to Smash Your Mirror was pretty good. Sellout was pretty funny. Fuck Everything was a phenomenal song. He started off every line with fuck, and he managed to make it all rhyme really well. He had like 2 more original albums which are rarely talked about now, I think. I'm trying to find them. Did I downloaded them, didn't I? Maybe I didn't. I don't know. He had a few other original albums. I'm ill-prepared. Yeah, he had a few other original albums, and they're all really good. But then he's got a bunch of different rap songs about different genres and games and stuff. Like, he did a few for Overwatch, He's just really, really good. So yeah, Dan Ball, I encourage you to check him out if you're a rap fan, especially if you're a nerdcore fan, because Dan Ball cannot be overlooked. He is very, very good.
Nice.
So now we're going to go to another conjoined one. I guess, could you lump these...
We can lump these two together.
These two together? Alright, well, we've talked about them in the past. Right. Starbomb and Ninja Sex Party.
Yeah, we won't go into much detail this time because we've talked about them before, as part of like our game.
And this video's been already going. Well, this podcast has been going on long enough.
Yeah, this is going too long already. But yeah, so NSP and Starbomb, I've like NSP's. They're kind of the same brand of comedy, pretty much, except Starbomb's based on like anime and video games. But it is like the same brand of like dry humor. Like suggestive themes sometimes, especially the first Starbomb album. There's some inside knowledge to the writing process of like all the Starbomb albums, which is really cool. I might mention it if I get a chance. But so NSP, I guess I'll start with NSP. They've had some really funny songs over the years. When I add things to my Spotify playlists and stuff, I usually want them to be really solid musically and production-wise, so there aren't a lot of songs from their first few albums that I really, truly enjoy. And that's not the fault, really, of them, I suppose, because it is solid writing, but it's just, like, I didn't enjoy, like, the production and the overall feel of the songs, but they were funny, and they're, like, the comedy has always been there. But recently, when they got TWRP on board, Tupperware Remix Party, to do their instrumentals, the quality of their music has, and this is also true for Starbomb, has gone through the roof, and that happened with their new original album. Well, it happened first with their first cover album, Under the Covers Volume 1. That was when they first got them on, and then with their newest original album, Cool Patrol. I believe yes, their quality and musical like presence, I guess, has like skyrocketed. I enjoy almost every song on Cool Patrol.
My favorites are Danny Don't You Know and Release the Kraken.
Go ahead.
They're fucking epic. Okay.
I'm actually, I think my biggest, the ones I like the most are Orgy for One. I would say Courtship of the Mermaid. Courtship of the Mermaid is just really funny. But also, Danny, Don't You Know? It's hard not to like that one. That's such in my opinion, like an absolute masterpiece in every sense of the word. Is Danny, Don't You Know?
It kind of encapsulates Ninja Sex Party. It just kind of encapsulates what it really does. It's about. It's really good.
Yes. So, and like I said, the musical quality thing is also true for Starbomb. I do listen to some of Starbomb's older songs because they're just so funny and they resonate with me as someone who grew up playing games and stuff. So some of their early, I have to find them. Some of their early good ones, obviously the really popular "It's Dangerous to Go Alone," as well as Sonic's Best Pal. I really enjoy.
Yeah.
That one's hilarious. The new Poke Rap, I really like that one as well. I'm trying to find the ones on Player Select that I like.
Jesus, yeah.
There's one on Transformers. It's really creative, really funny stuff that Starbomb does. Obviously, and I actually enjoy most of the songs on their newest album, The Triforce. Again, it's because the musical quality has just gone up so much in comparison to their previous two albums. So even though I'm not like super familiar with Overwatch, their song Blowing the Payload, I really like. There's so much good ones. The one Filling in the Name Of is probably one of my favorite Starbomb songs just because it's this rock instrumental, but it's actually so creative, the direction they took with the song concept itself. Because who would ever think of writing a comedy song based on the fact that when you play Tetris, you almost fully rely on the long pieces to fill in those gaps that you've intentionally left. Like, and that the fact that if the long piece had feelings, he would probably be depressed because people only want him for his use, for like how useful he is. Like, who would ever think to write a song about that?
Just some of the ideas.
Like, that is why Filling in the Name Of is one of my favorite Starbomb songs. It's just so good.
if I had to say my favorites, it would be Mega Marital Problems, Ryu vs. Ken, The Book of Nook. They're all incredible from the first album.
Yes.
Yeah, from Player Select, Inky's Lambent. Oh my god! It's... Lament, sorry. Lament. Oh my god, that is fucking incredible. And I love the simple plot songs. They're really good. What was my favorite from the Triforce? I'm not even sure. But yeah, anyway, Starbomb, incredible stuff. And also, I'm willing to cut out a few of my artists if you want to cut down time, because we're really stretching time here. Because I'm willing to just talk about this.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'll breeze through the next few.
Yeah, you breeze through yours, and then I'll take my last one, and then we'll end it here.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna breeze through. I have a few I want to just kind of roll off here. The first one I want to mention is 10-second songs. If you've been on YouTube, you've probably seen one of his videos. He's the guy that does the songs in a bunch of different styles. His musical diversity and capability is just incredible, as well as his vocal range. Not just in how high he can go or how low he can go, but also how he sounds. It's just incredible. One of my favorite things he's done, which was actually a collaboration with a musician that I'm going to mention here in a moment, it was a cover of Billie Eilish's "Bad Guy" in the style of Breaking Benjamin.
I've listened to it, and I can testimonially say it is incredible.
It is really, really good. So it's like a proper metal cover. It's in the style of Diary of Jane, obviously, because that's Breaking Benjamin's most popular song. But it's like it's taken the lyrics of "Bad Guy" and just absolutely gone like this epic rock style with it, like Breaking Benjamin style. It's perfect, and he almost kind of sounds like Ben too, which is just really cool. He also did Old Town Road in the style of Nickelback. It's just the stuff he's able to do is just incredible. So, but all his 10 style cover songs are 20 style maybe. They're really fun to listen to. So highly recommend 10-second songs. Anthony, I love you. Next up, I want to mention Hyper Potions. I'm not too familiar with these guys, but the music they do is amazing. They were recently brought on to a lot of Sonic stuff because they did the opening song for like that original Sonic Mania trailer. I think it might have been either the title screen or the credits theme for Sonic Mania, which is called Friends, and it's obviously one of their most popular songs since it's part of Sonic Mania. But it's just really good, really uplifting stuff. It's like electronic, kind of like, I don't know what you would call it. I'm not really too familiar with electronic subgenres. But Hyper Potions and a lot of their original stuff that I've listened to is really good as well. That's not made for Sonic or whatever. But and they also do a lot of like remixes for like kind of lesser Sonic games, I guess. Like they did some collabs with Jun Sonoe for, I think, Sonic Team Racing or whatever the most recent racing Sonic game was. I don't really play those games, but the music from them is incredible. So yeah, it's just these two guys who are just really, really good at what they do. So love Hyper Potions. And then lastly, I want to mention Jared Dines, and I won't talk about him too much because I did mention him in the YouTubers video. But as a musician, he's probably one of my favorite guitarists out there. Like he's just so good. He's definitely not the best at like shredding or whatever, but just his all-around musical talent is just, especially with a guitar in his hand, is just incredible. Probably my favorite like rhythm guitarist out there, like because the way he writes his riffs for rhythm guitar is just so cool. Like it feels like he has endless creativity when it comes to that thing. Like even on his like big shredding collabs where he has a bunch of YouTubers on to shred over the songs he writes, I like the shredding and stuff, but the riffs underneath of them are just so underappreciated. Like, he's so good at that, and I just wish I could be as good as him. He's so good. Obviously, I mentioned he does comedy stuff in the last time that I talked about him. Again, you kind of have to be familiar with, like, music and band dynamics as well. But he also has 2 original EPs out called Light in the Dark. Which are the dark is death metal and the light is melodic metalcore. So they're all pretty much screaming vocals for the most part. There's some singing vocals here and there, and there's some singing vocals in every song in the light. But The Light, I really, really love that EP. Is absolutely incredible. So if you're good with the screaming vocals, his vocals are pretty solid. They're not the best screaming vocals I've ever heard, but just the musicianship in those songs, like he does it all himself. The guitar, bass, drums, like he plays it all live, which is incredible. And he's working on a new original album as well, called The Gray, which is supposed to kind of combine those two, obviously. So those EPs are both excellent, and he's the guitarist for Daddy Rock, which is a band that he founded, which had probably my favorite song of last year called Quando. So if you have any self-respect, please go listen to Quando, because it's like this really nice vocal style over this progressive sounding rock track. It's just epic. And then there's this gent breakdown in the bridge of the song that kind of makes me have an erection. Every time I listen to it, no matter how many times I listen to it. It's so good. Plus, the vocals are incredible by Vince. If you have a shred of self-respect for yourself, if there's one thing to take away from this video, please listen to Quando. It is 4 minutes well worth your time. That's all.
Pop an epic stiffy to that. Damn. Anyway.
Yes, absolutely.
I got two. I'll lump these together. DJ Joe / Zenpaku is my last entry, but I think this other guy I'm going to mention is also his brother, Nice Rice, because I believe DJ Joe promoted Nice Rice's album saying it was his brother's album, so I'm going to mention them together. DJ Joe, he's been on YouTube for a bit, for quite a while. He does a really good dubstep remixes of anime OPs and endings. He's done heaps of stuff all the way back from 2014. Epic. He did This Game. Then he's done a few ReZero songs. He's done a few from I haven't watched. I haven't heard other versions of the song, but I really like him. Mind Brand. I don't know where that's from. Lost. I don't know what that's from. Kiss of Death. I think that was.
Darling in the Franxx, right?
Darling in the Franxx, yeah, that's what it was from, yeah. And he's done heaps of other good songs. Deal with the Devil, I'm not sure where that one was from. Colors, I know that's from Code Geass. A-Lies, that's from the other fucking Mecha show, I don't even remember. But, yeah, he does an incredibly good job at dubstep remixes of anime songs. And he does the remixes mostly. Every song... Okay, now this is one thing. He goes by DJ Joe / Zenpaku, but then in a few of his releases where he releases songs under DJ Joe, it says featuring Zenpaku. So this makes me think... I think Zenpaku is the name he goes under when he's a vocalist in a song. Because most of the time he doesn't do vocals, he brings in someone else.
Yeah.
But when he does, I think he goes under the name Zenpaku. And I also believe this because of his brother's album. Nice Rice is the artist. I don't really know why he's called Nice Rice, but you know what? I'm not going to argue. Last year he released an EP. I'm just trying to find it online now. I think it was literally called Nice Rice EP. Probably was. But he featured Zenpaku in the first song, I believe, which was incredible. I'm just going to find him on my fucking iTunes. Yeah, Handshake EP by Nice Rice. It's got a lot of interesting songs, which... Some of them are fast, some of them are slow, but they're all really cool in their own way. The World featuring Zenpaku was a bit more dubsteppy, obviously, because it's fucking DJ Joe reality. But yeah, he's done Nice Rice and DJ Joe, are two incredible artists. I can't wait to see what else Nice Rice has in store, considering he's new to the... I'm assuming he's new, because I didn't see anything else released under him. So, yeah, DJ Joe, I was considering doing an Amazing Online Artists video about him, but I've got my own little self-imposed rule that if they've released a physical album, I'm not going to include them.
Fair enough.
That's because they're amazing online artists, but when they branch into the real world with those fucking physical albums, sorry. But
shit.
One thing I think you'll like is that he...
Does that mean if I put out a CD, I'm not an online artist anymore? Fuck.
Well, I'll delete my video. Fuck you. But one thing DJ Joe has done, which I think you'll like, is like every few years he releases a compilation album. I think even with physical CD... has he done a physical CD? Yeah, he has. Yeah, that's why I haven't included him. But DJ Joe, he releases a physical album of his favourite Legend of Zelda remixes. And he's done one for 2019 called The Legend of Joe. And it's got 5 songs. I believe they're all from Legend of Zelda in there. That's why it's called The Legend of Joe. Haha. But
Epic.
He did another one which was released on a physical CD, which I don't remember the name of. But I'm not a massive fan of his Zelda remixes, but I know a lot of people enjoy them, hence why he actually releases them as a fucking physical CD. But yeah, he's very good at what he does. Love a lot of his anime stuff, and yeah, there's a lot of anime artists or cover artists and remixes we've mentioned today. So be sure to check them all out. I'm gonna swiftly
link to my channel is in the description.
Ending. What?
Link to my channel is in the description.
Oh, sure. Why not? Thank you all so much for watching. Now,
Hi, we talked about like 20 other artists. Here's a link to my channel. Thanks.
Yeah, you're just gonna be in your own. You're gonna be in your own paragraph. Just please subscribe. Please
subscribe.
It's just
I need to feed my family. My wife and kids are dying.
Your dog is barking at you, demanding food when you don't have it.
My cat is napping on my bed. What am I gonna do, dude?
My cat
I'll send you a
sleeping.
Snapchat.
Help.
Hold on, I'm gonna send you a Snapchat live on the podcast of my cat napping.
Right, we don't have much time.
There he is. Look at that. Look at him go.
All right, hold on.
Baron, look at me, cunt. Okay, fine, don't.
Okay. Thank you all so much for watching.
I sent it to you.
Trying to do the outro.
Okay, do it.
Snapchatting. I'm bringing this up. I'm going to screenshot it and put it on the podcast just to annoy everyone. Let's do it.
I saved it. I'll send you the video.
If you want. Okay, Snapchat's not loading. Why? Help. Please. Yeah. Jesus, help. Okay,
Jesus, come back from the dead.
There
oh, wait,
it is.
He already did that.
There it is.
Fuck.
Oh, no. Cats. Hello, cats. Awesome. Anyway, this is all the time we have for you today on today's episode of the podcast. If you want to suggest any... if you want to communicate with us, we are both on Facebook and Twitter, but mainly Twitter.
We don't use Facebook.
Yeah, mainly Twitter. So go follow us on Twitter at FireStormPod.
Yes.
Now,
they wouldn't let us put in FireStorm Podcast. There was too many characters.
Yeah, I know. Now, point at Gus for the email rhyme he came up with. Go.
Yes, if you want to send us questions or suggestions, please email us at firestormproductions2@gmail.com. That's no caps in the number 2. Or you can just leave it in the comments if you're lame or not 50 years old.
If you're lame, then...
And you don't use email.
Loser.
Which is understandable.
No, fair enough. Anyway.
But you can email us. It's there if you want to.
Yeah, we'll look at it.
We suggest it, actually.
Questions and suggestions, yeah. We made a whole rhyme about it. Well, Gus did. So,
yeah, it happened on a whim. And now it's just a thing.
Fantastic. Anyway, thank you all so much for listening. And have a good one, guys.
Bye. Hey, one more thing before we end the podcast. Audra, please marry me.
Oh, God.
All right, bye.
Sorry.
I'm not.